Today we're going to take a look at Natalya Guseva, who in 2024 was top 10 longest drivers on the LPGA Tour. But you know what? She wanted more. This year, she's ranked number 3 and has gained 10 more yards. Today, we're going to take a look at how she gained those 10 yards, look at her body motion, and man, it is fantastic what she does in the golf swing, and you have to watch all this video to understand that you will never be able to do it because you don't have gummy-like body. So the only way to improve that is stop watching videos, go to the gym, get your rubber bands out, and start stretching, because if you try this swing without doing that, you're going to end up in the Line Golf Academy Hospital Hall of Fame. Hall of Shame. Don't forget, hit that like, share, subscribe if you do enjoy this type of content, because on top of these videos, every Sunday we go live right here, 6 o'clock p.m. PST Standard Time, where I diagnose your golf swings, cause and effects. Don't forget, send them to me. Link is in the description below. And also, right somewhere over there, hit that like. It really helps us. Let's get going. Let's just take a moment to appreciate that beautiful swing down there. And today we're going to take a look at how she's able to hit it so far, gain 10 yards in the past year. And obviously it comes from maturity. She's coming of age. She's getting used to her sequencing. But most importantly, we're going to look at her footwork, how she's able to rotate so much through that impact zone, separate her lower body from her upper body. She creates an incredible amount of separation. That's what we call X factor at the top. And then as she gets the lower body to uncoil, there's the X factor stretch. So that's just amazing. Most of us cannot do this because we're not able to. We just don't have the body to do this. So let's admire this. Let's not try to emulate this, because if you do, I'm not responsible for you having to call the ambulance. I can barely afford an ambulance myself, so I don't even bother doing this. Today, we're also going to look at how she gets her club so shallow. Ooh, I don't like that word, shallow. We'll just say flat. I'm going to take a look at how she can do this, why she needs to get so much rotation to allow that shallow to occur and release correctly. But look at this motion. Specifically, let's go right down to impact while we have this video up here. Right there. I mean, just look at the amount of uncoiling that's occurring. Look at that left foot, how it's bowing over because it's receiving all that weight. The amount of rotation that she has. Now, this could be a future injury if it's not taken care of right in this area, potentially this area, and maybe this area, but all depends really on your DNA and your ability to recover. Let's back up a few frames and let's see. So this is a good angle too, and we'll get the down line as well. But we see, watch the hips. The whole hip and body starts to turn, but now the hips are definitely outracing the body turn. And we can see this, the hips are opening up, but the shoulders are still closed. So the amount of torque that she is enabling in her golf swing to unwind correctly. Not only that, she's connected that right elbow to the right side. A la Mr. Hogan, he would get that feeling, and this would help him get every ounce of his body through the ball, because from this position, only thing to get those hands, because the club is so shallow from this point. We'll see better from down the line, but from here, there's no firing because there's no room for the hands and arms. Her body is essentially outracing her arms in this position. Now she has to get her hands to go from here to impact. How is she going to do that? She's going to just rotate the upper body. The whole upper body is going to rotate and be open at impact, unlike some other professionals we've seen where they actually remain pretty square at impact, a la Tiger. So let's take a look here. Look at that rotation. So the whole body is now not only tilting but also turning. So she strikes the ball, her hips are open, but now her shoulders are also open while she's tilting down. So it's not for the faint of heart, especially for somebody with a lower back issue like me. But let's take a look at that down the line just to show you how shallow she becomes. Okay, we got Barney Purple on the screen here. We're going to do some lower plane lines, upper plane lines, and we're going to do a quick little spine angle check. We're not going to get too detailed today with all of our crazy lines, but this will show you basically how she is able to hold a posture. And no, I didn't forget Ivan Red. And let's do a quick little centeredness check, and we will probably see that she is slightly toe-based with that centeredness check forward of her hips, which could assist with creating some room for the initial takeaway to keep it on that plane. But let's take a look. As we take that club back, we do see that those hands get right on that lower plane line. And just like most of the top amateurs in the world today, if we zoom in here, we can see that that is a pretty small circle to capture the club head and the center of the hands. So the closer we get that circle to that lower plane line, that just ensures that you're turning and tilting. And look at that tilting. The tilting is working nicely. It's working perpendicular to the spine angle, and we have a lot of room here to allow her to connect the right arm to the body as she rotates through. So far, we are looking good. Club face is slightly open, not too concerning, but let's take a look at that secondary plane line. We don't see she gets that secondary plane line as well as we've seen other professionals. It just does not matter because these tour quality professionals are the best compensators in the world. They know how to do this over and over again, which is why they're on tour. But if you take a look at the body is the most important part. Can you hold your posture? That is the key. If you're losing posture, that's going to play havoc with your natural motion of your arm plane, and then also plays havoc with that club face, because if you stand up and go back down, the club face is also going to make some compensations to adjust for that. So you want to take a look at your body. The hands and arms are just an outcome of what the body is able to give the room for them to use. So we take a look at, she definitely gets that club deep enough, and with depth doesn't come height, so we don't get to that secondary plane line. So it's one or the other. Now the high one is okay. I've seen great tour players get the club higher than the secondary plane, but they're able to just reroute it and work with it. And the same thing with her. Now obviously there's benefits to one or the other. If your hands are lower at the top plane line, you're probably going to connect to your body quicker, so you better get out the way. So if you rotate a lot, you might want to look at getting your hands a little bit lower, but make sure they work according to how you set up, because you don't want to set up where naturally your body will be going one way and you're trying to move around to go against that natural motion. And this triangle check, I'm going to guess, just because she's able to get it fairly flatter sooner, we will see the triangle. I'm going to guess that these hands are going to remain on this side of the triangle on the first moves down. And let's take a look. And we see, yes, they are. They're on that left, our view left side of the triangle, because she's able to just boom, pull those hands straight down. Now she is actually below her plane, which is incredible. And why is this the go-to move for most amateurs? They're trying to get to this position, but they're just doing themselves disservice. To get to that position, you have to set up correctly like her, your arms have to be like her, and that first move down to get that right elbow to connect to the body immediately like she does will lower your plane. However, you had better get your whole lower body out the way and rotate it out the way, which she does amazing. You can see she's actually going against that back brace line. She's dropped down to accommodate that move. So when you're dropping down, you're actually creating a little bit more spacing while your hands are coming so far from the inside. And this gives you a much higher launch angle. It decreases the spin. It gets the path moving slightly right. So you are going to favor high draws if you pull this off. And from this point on, we have shoulders that are square to the target and hips that are opening. So from that other view we saw earlier, that's that twisting motion, that's the X factor stretch. For most of us, we have the opposite. What's the opposite of stretch? X factor bounce. But take a look here. Now we've connected. What does she have left? She can't throw her hands. They're behind her body. So guess what? Here comes the rotation. So look at this. Boom, boom, boom. All rotating with the upper body, not so much with the lower body. The lower body still has to be engaged to help drive. And you see the right leg not only spinning but slightly pushing up to help get the body out the way. But she needed it, because look at that right elbow. It's still stuck against her hip. She has to get out the way. She has to rotate as hard as she can and strike it, including the shoulders. Now take a look at the shoulder tilt right as she strikes it. Let's do a quick shoulder tilt test, and let's do this in mellow yellow, and we are at 62. Let's go to the top and let's see where she was. Go right to the true top there, and we have quite a big drop of tilt. So unless you can get 30 degrees of tilt and rotate where you're almost facing the target at impact, don't bother trying to get flat. It's going to ruin your swing. Too many amateurs out there on the range I see just practicing this first move, doing all this because they have no idea the reason their hands have to be high or move back around is because their body position sucks. And if your body position sucks, who cares? It's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's just not going to work out. You've got to get your body taken care of, and you have to be able to get into these type of positions to get that flatter motion going. So this is a beautiful exit path we see, because she is going to be slightly steeper on her exit path because she's swinging up. Now she gets to her secondary plane line. But remember, her top of her swing was lower, so we can see that the motion is still rising up, which means that the body's connected to the hands, and that turning and extending out, you will see your plane line always higher than your entrance line. And if you don't, you got to come see one of us ASAP. But I hope this helps you just recognize what an athlete this lady is and why you should not even try any of this stuff. Most of you guys and girls watching this should just watch it and enjoy it. Don't emulate this, because if you emulate it, it's like a Xerox copy. It's going to get worse and worse the more you try to emulate other people that you should have no business trying to emulate. You want to emulate something? Go to a golf coach near you. They'll help you emulate your best version, because you are limited to your ability and your capabilities that God gave you. Hope that helped you. I'll see you next time. Fairways and greens.